Hey guys, Evan with the Swing Trade Pros team here. In this short video, I'm going to take you guys through some of our alert call trade setups, either crypto or stock options. I'm going to go through some patterns, maybe some falling wedges, some bullish pennants, and some bear flags, and some bull flags. So if you guys like that content, make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright, so the first trade recap we're going to go through here is a option call on Tilray that we called out last week in the alert service group. I was giving $7 option calls to expire this week or the end of this month. Obviously, it depends on your account and what type of capital you have to tie up in this type of trade. So I was saying at least 1 week or 2 weeks for this move to happen, okay? And we got the move today. It was a really nice move, about 12, almost 13% move, got close to $8, okay? But what I want to show you guys here is this pattern that we're in, okay? So if you zoom out overall, you go like the weekly chart, right? You zoom out, you know that this asset has been destroyed. You know, it peaked out in October or September of 18 around $300, and it bottomed you know, during Corona somewhere around, you know, $2.40. Okay, this asset's trading around $7. So in my opinion, it's still a big steal long term. Obviously, we're in a massive pattern here called a falling wedge, or you want to call it a descending wedge, because it's not really a falling wedge because it's not in a bullish setup, but this is a descending wedge, and typically these break to the upside, right? So, but let's zoom in a little bit closer, right? Because when you're trading options, very sensitive to time. So in this particular setup, what I was looking at, obviously before this broke out, I was looking at the very top here. Now, if you were to draw a line from the top, okay, obviously just ignore, you know what I could do? I could probably replay this, right? So maybe let's just replay from back here. Pause it. Anyways, okay, perfect. So it stopped it from right there. So we're not going to be able to see what happened, right? Perfect. So we can draw a trend line down, right? So what you want to do when you're drawing these trend lines is you want to make sure you're not cutting through any candle bodies. Now, cutting through wicks is perfectly fine, right? Because this is a downsloping resistance, so it makes sense that it would actually wick off of this area as a resistance. These are called basically supply lines, right? There's a lot of people selling here, so there's a lot of supply, right? And the opposite's true for the bottom line. The bottom line would be the demand line, where a lot of people are buying. There's not a lot of sellers there, right? So, and as you guys can see, it's kind of that pizza shape, right? Or that downsloping, we call that a falling wedge, okay? It's the same pattern that we're in on the longer time frame, right? So you guys kind of get an idea of what I'm getting at here. So if I had continued to continued to alert this, because we kept touching this area. If you look left, this actually is a major support area here. So we kept touching this area. It tried to rally and failed. It came back down and just kind of sort of bottomed out here, right? So like if you had this line drawn, you would have seen that this is towards the bottom of the pattern. That's why I was alerting to buy it here, because low risk area, low risk long. We all know Tilray is capable of making big movements, given it gets the volume and it's in a pattern setup. Also, if you look at your oscillators, you can clearly see that on the 4-hour time scale that we were oversold, and we also made this low down here in June, and then we made a higher low here recently in July, right? So what is this, guys? This is MACD, or this is RSI bullish divergence, right? We have a divergence in the price action. We made technically a lower low on price, but lower levels of negative momentum, or higher levels of negative momentum. So like this low on the RSI coincides with this negative momentum here, and this is a higher low of negative momentum, right? So if this low came all the way back down, then it wouldn't really be considered divergence, in which case we wouldn't really be looking for this trade, because we don't think that there's going to be any momentum to push the price action to the upside. So this trade setup happened. I'm going to show you guys some of the results from this. All right, so This was today, actually, we got this move. Here you go. Here's the move that we got. It got out of the wedge, close to $8. We had plenty of people posting gains on this. I don't think this is the right call, but where was it? You know what? I'm gonna actually find the actual call out because I want to be sure that I did alert this. See, I alerted this July 2nd. I believe that was last week, last Thursday. Okay, and I said next week's expiration. Okay, get next week's expiration, meaning for this week. Okay, perfect. So, and I said get $7 calls, right? In the money calls then. So, whatever the premium you paid then, if you sold today, you definitely had a nice gain. I'm going to say over 100% gain on that trade setup, okay? But that's a falling wedge, right? That's a falling wedge. We're going to hit the play button now. What happened? Oh my god, we broke out of the wedge. Perfect. And right now we're actually resting on top of the wedge, which means that we haven't done the whole move of this wedge. Sure, we may not just continue ripping tomorrow, but it's possible we can, because we did make this bullish engulfing candle, and looks like we're just having a resting bar after hours here, sitting at 788, right? Keep your eyes peeled for Tilray tomorrow. I think this is going to be another, make another push to the upside, right? Let's go to a crypto call that I've recently made. I think it was Power Ledger. Now this pattern is called a bullish pennant, okay? And let me just get this situated properly. It looks like I had drawn this originally and it kind of deviated out of my triangle here. Okay, so I'm going to redraw it. Again, when you're drawing these patterns, make sure you are not cutting through candle bodies and that you're only cutting through or touching the wicks. Let's just verify that we're doing that properly. Okay, good. No candle bodies, just wicks. Just wicks. Barely touching the wick there, perfect. Okay, so I alerted this somewhere over here, I believe, towards the bottom of the pattern, right? I believe this was alerted on... Now, this was alerted on July 1st. Perfect. So July 1st was right here at this bottom, right around 900 and between 909 and 922 sats. So technically, this trade's still in the green. I think I actually hit one of the take profits, which was like 950 or 960 on this. Yeah, 950. Okay, one of the take profits was hit. We're still in this pattern. I still think that we're going to see further upside here, obviously. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled for Power Ledger. This is definitely a bull pennant and a bullish setup here. Look at the volume that's been completely receded. And so just stay patient here if you are in this trade. And by the way, guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell if you guys like this content. And I'm going to go through one more pattern here that I think you guys should definitely always keep your eyes on. And obviously, these two patterns that I've shown you are mostly patterns that break to the upside. I'm going to show you a pattern that actually will break to the downside now. Let's find something that isn't a falling wedge. Okay, so yeah, GNUS was a good one. So this pattern obviously wasn't a falling wedge, but then had a pretty big breakdown, right? So we were in this wedge, broke out of it, and we kind of topped out over here, right? So I mean, this isn't really a pattern setup. This is more of like, oh my god, it's overbought, it has to sell off type deal. So maybe this isn't quite a good example of that. Here you go. We can draw it here as well. Okay, so here we have what's called a bearish consolidation, right after an impulse down. You know, we're in this consolidation pattern, and this is called a bearish rectangle. Okay, where you're chopping around in a range here for a while. And you start to see that you test the support more than once, right? You back tested here, you tried to spring and failed, made a lower high, and then just dumped, right? So, and I'm sure you could probably see that on oscillators too. So here are the oscillators. You kept making lower highs on the RSI, making this bearish divergence. 1, 2, 3 tops, right? And then we got the move down. Came a little later. Okay. So you got these 1, 2, 3 tops, right? 1, 2, 3, and you got this move down, right? Then you came oversold. This was the bounce off support, right? Bounce off support. And then you got this move to the upside. Okay, you were still creating bearish divergence there. If you were to draw this line across, you would still get that divergence. And then you also saw it in the oscillator, right? And then you got this big move down. If you guys like this content, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe bell, and catch you guys in the next video.